Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending on where you're at. I am going to be starting in just about 3 minutes. I do want to wait until 9, but just checking audio settings and all of that and give it a little bit, but we'll dive right in right at 9. All right, it's 9. Yay, there's some people in here. Thank you so much for being here. In today's life, we are going to get into how to create the fraction of the day. These have been super popular, and some of the tips and the tricks that I'll show you on how I create these can definitely be applied to all of the other activities as well. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the chat and I'm more than happy to pause and answer those. Even if they're like about previous lives or anything like that. I did finally, for my YouTube channel as a whole, I did end up narrowing down how I'm going to post because my channel is it's a little all over the place. So my actual channel, the videos that I record are about these things that I love, which are handbags, and just kind of like all those things that I use on a day-to-day basis. So I'll be making those posts twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are going to be pre-recorded videos. And then I'll go live once a week for my teacher content. And that's just how I create these activities. So I have been making these since 2020. I just taught myself. I've always loved spreadsheets and working with them, and all of these activities that you see really did come from just my brain. We started off with pixels with Julianne and Debbie, and little by little we turned that into just like that huge group that you see over on Facebook and just sharing everything for free. I want to continue doing that, but because I already have so many that I've pre-made, I'm not as active in the group because I'm not consistently making new things anymore, but I do have a plethora of information to share for anybody that wants to dive in and get started and they can't find what they need in the group, right? So sometimes you can find it. I know that we have things in the group for all subjects, but these fraction of the days, I am going to be making them a lot. I am teaching 7th grade next year, and we really want to make sure that our kids have math fluency just down and that they understand. So just including something this easy that is fun for them to do as a warm-up will hopefully be beneficial. So today I'm going to be showing you how I take an existing fraction of the day template and just turn it into a new fraction without having to do all of the back work. I'm going to share all of the links for free as usual, and they will also be on Facebook. Does anyone have any questions before I just start sharing everything? I'm going to disconnect my mouse. Okay. So this is the one that I'm going to be sharing right now that I'm going to be working out of. And then I have another example here is a 1/6. I know that the picture's kind of cut off, but when you go full screen, you can see a lot more of it. And then I also like to make this smaller for my students. So you can do that too. You can tell them to go to 75%. But I'm going to share this one in case you want it. This is the 1/6 one. I'll put it right in the chat. I'm going to be sharing this one on Facebook right now. I think I have in the past. But there is that one if you want it. Go ahead and close this one right off. And this is the one I'm going to be working out of. So I'm going to share this one as well. And I'm going to put it on the Facebook group as well for later, or for anybody that is watching the replay. It'll also be in the description of the video at the end. The only thing you need is a Google Drive. So this is our Facebook group, and directly in here I'm going to paste that as well. And let's put it here. I just put it in the wrong post. It should be on this one, but that's okay. All right, so links for the live, from the live, just make sure that you look for this on the Facebook group if you're ever catching a replay, and they'll all be in there. I am going to change the color of the background for every picture so that every time we go live, it's easier for you to visually find the links for that particular live if you're going through Facebook. All right, let's close this one out. Put it over on the side. Checking chat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a copy of this one. I always like to start with something that I've already made. It saves me a lot of time rather than having to start this from scratch. If you're interested in doing block reveals from scratch, I do have a video that's probably the most popular video that I have on YouTube. It has over 30,000 views. I think it became such a big deal when I created these for the first time, and that video is very popular. But that one's in there too if you want to tackle doing this 100% from scratch. So 1/2 is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to title this key. So I'm going to do 1/2 because it's an easy fraction, and I plan on using, I don't have one for 1/2, and I plan on using that as the intro next year. So on one of the first days of school, when I introduce these activities, I want it to be an easy fraction so that students have buy-in. And then when I'm done with it, I will also share it so you have it. All right, so make a copy. And I'm going to close this one out. Actually, yeah, I already put it in the description. So before I just kind of go into everything else that I use now to turn this into the 1/2 activity, I just want to show how the activity itself works. If you are going to assign this 4/9 one to your students, you would erase all of the answers, right? So I like to erase them all at a time. And you see that every time one of the answers is gone, those pieces of the pictures are gone. And this is also turning green for them so that they can see that whether or not their answer is right or wrong. So for example, if I put in my denominator a 4, it's going to turn red so that I know that that answer is incorrect, and there's also no picture attached to go with it. So, right, self-checking is always nice. When you're ready to go grade, if you're going to assign a point value to this, you can just look at the picture and make sure that it's complete. If the picture is complete, then they got all the answers correct and there's nothing you need to look at. If you notice that some of the picture is missing, then you can go over to this side and look for that red. It'll really pop out at you so that you know what the students missed. Okay, so I really, really love using these. I am going to go back. And all right. So again, we're going to use 1/2. So I'm going to start editing all of the numbers, right? So I know that this is going to be 1/2. And then the answer to this one will be 1/2. This is something I'm going to change, but the numerator will be 1 and the denominator will be 2. Things like that. This is going to be show where, and then I'm going to change this to 1/2. Use the number line below to find an equivalent fraction to 1/2. And skip count by 1/2. Use the diagram below to find a fraction that is. And then on this one, I do like to change them around. So I'm going to put that is less than 1/2. All right, so changing some of those things around so that I am just kind of ready to dive into the rest of it. So the first thing that I want to do is change these here, right? So what fraction are the squid? What fraction are the jellyfish? So on these, if you notice, everything has 9 pieces. You can change this however you want. So if we want, for example, to keep with the denominator of 2, these are just examples. I think I'm going to keep the 9 just because 1/2 would be kind of boring. And again, this is an introduction for students to be able to come up with these. I'm wondering what pictures I can use. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Let's do this part first. Switching gears. I'm going to do the block reveal first. So the images first, because sometimes when I put a picture up, then that inspires what emojis I want to use here. So on this one, I used C related stuff because I had SpongeBob and Patrick. So because I'm going to have something different here, I'll see kind of what I want to add to it. So let's do that first. In order for me to cut up the image, so for me to get all the little squares, I need to find an image that I like. You can use any image, any PDF, any JPEG, things like that. I am going to be using one that I made earlier today, but you can use any picture. And I use, let me find the link. It's called Pine Tools. I had it saved somewhere. Where'd you go? All right, here it is. This is the link that I use. All right, so Pine Tools. I just keep losing the chat here. There's so many tabs open. And where did it go? Man, All right, let me just, I gotta get rid of some of these things. I'm putting it in the pixel group as well. Scatterbrain. It's because the chat opened separately and I can't find it now. I don't know where it went. Do I have to sign in again? Open web browser. There we go. All right, there it is. Now it's in the chat. My chat was gone. I had to re-sign in, which was weird. Okay, so Pine Tools. This is how I'm gonna split the image. I am going to change this. I'm gonna choose file here and I'm gonna select the picture that I made. Okay, so you're gonna see it here. This is the picture that I wanna use. Looking up to a grade school year, and it's Oliver from Oliver and Company. I love this kitty. And again, because I plan on using this the first week of school, it's relevant. And I only want to create things that I'll use. So that's why I chose this picture. 1/2 is the fraction that we're using. And if you notice, my fraction of the day templates are all 6 by 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when we're going to split this image for this particular one, I'm going to change this to both because I'm going to split both horizontally, vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to change this to 6 by 6. All right, so again, both, and then 6 by 6. And then I am going to hit split image. All right, so when you do that, it splits the image for you. Here are all the bits and pieces down here, but I'm going to download the zip file because the easier, the better. I get them all together. It downloads automatically and I can open up that folder. It adds it here to my drive. Usually it puts it, where'd it go? Let's put it here on the side and unzip it. There it is. All right, so here are all the pieces all cut up and in order. Right. So now that I have this, I don't need this Pine Tools anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and close that out. And we gotta unhide this sheet, right? Because this was an activity that we already made. So I have to unhide this so that I can get to sheet 2. Okay, so this is a really good bits and pieces for any activity that I've made because I have to hide the sheet. So let's unhide it. So I'm going to go to View, Hidden Sheets, and Show To. I'm going to select the whole sheet by using this little top square up here. And I'm going to make all of these a little bigger. And let's make it a little smaller than that. If you notice here, these little arrows at the top, this has hidden sheets in here. So I'm going to click on that. Hi, Roshan. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. All right, so now I can see the images here. I also eventually want to see the text, right? So because I want to see the text eventually, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, unhide it right now. So I'm going to select this top corner and I'm going to change everything to size 20. And then from there, from the 20, I'm going to right click anywhere on the sheet and I'm going to go to View More Cell Options, Conditional Formatting, and delete the conditional formatting. This is how I hide my work. So when we get over to it, I'll show you how to do this. But here is our work, right? Oh, let's undo that part. I don't want all of it to be giant. Just see which is where our numbers are. And there we go. And here's our picture. Okay. Now I have to start changing this image up. So I'm going to split my screen. All right, so here are the pictures that I'm going to drag and drop into here. And we did this in the last live. If you were here, it's the same process. I do this a lot. we're going to get some sort of picture and we're going to have to input it into the fields that are there to replace it. So I am going to start with this corner because that's the order that this is in. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Image in Cell. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop. Insert, Image, Image in Cell, and the next one. If you notice, I am clicking on the actual picture and then dragging. You don't have to do that. You can just drag. But the reason why I do that part is because then I know exactly where I left off. So I know which one comes next, right? So I know this is the one that's going to come next. The thing that I love about Pine Tools as well is that it does label your images, right? Row 1, column 6. So you know exactly where it should go. If you lose track of where your images are, then you can always put them into the right place by reading the name that it gave you. Don't worry about the sizing of the images. Remember, these get hidden anyway. Javi and Luisa, my husband and my sister. Very supportive. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And I think for the most part, this tends to be the part that's a little tedious, takes a while, but you can add any picture. This year, what I did is I had students that were great artists, and because I teach in a virtual school, a lot of their artwork is virtual, right? So a lot of them are amazing, just virtual artists, and they would send me pictures of their work, and then I would turn them into an activity, and they loved it. They love seeing their pictures used there. So when you have Pine Tools, that's a great way to showcase your students and celebrate how awesome they are outside of your content. So that is something that I pride myself in, making sure that my students feel seen and valued and loved. I had students this year also that were part of our poetry slam. So we do a poetry slam with our English teachers, and they liked sharing their poetry with me. So it's nice to be able to showcase their work somehow. And I'm still going a little more than halfway done. I mean, if you have been working with these for a while, then you probably already know where to go from here, right? It's just unhide it and hiding it. Hi, Crush On. Thanks for being here. My channel's kind of, it's a little all over the place. For the most part, the videos that I post weekly are about handbags and just how, like, the luxury things that I like. I just kind of started that side. But by trade, I am a math teacher, and I do go live once a week, or I'm starting to go live once a week to show teachers how to make digital activities that I started making a long time ago. So just sharing tips and tricks for teachers to make activities. I guess it doesn't really have to be just teachers. If you wanted to make something like this for something else, you totally can. Spreadsheets are something I'm really good at. So I'm just sharing tips and tricks. Still going, adding these pictures. Insert, image, image in cell, drag and drop. Almost done. 2 more. Sounded like a workout channel there. Up and down. And there we go. All right, I'm done. I'm going to close this out. And now I have the picture here. It looks weird. That's okay. I am going to go ahead and select these as well, and then I'm going to hide them just because I don't need them anymore and I don't want them to be in the way. This is where we're going to be working on next. This first column is your number, like your problem number. And then this second column is your answers. I am going to use this third column to mark an X when I've updated. And then, so I'm going to put like a little X on here when I update the answer. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this template is not in order like the other ones. And sometimes I do that because it makes it harder for students to go in there and match up the answers. So, yeah. Oh, that's so nice, Sandra. Awesome. Thanks for being back. I know I was a little worried about starting back up on YouTube, but it's going well. And sharing my gift, right, is I think it has always been something that I really enjoy. So yeah, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so here's my picture. Look at how cute it looks. I got lucky. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't get this lucky. I got lucky that it fits really nicely in the frame. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't fit really nicely and you end up with pictures like this. Let me just share this. Right? Sometimes it ends up just being all funky and the squares don't fit quite nicely. So all you got to do is just mess with the sizing. Right? So like I did, you select all of them. Just make sure that you select all of them together. Pine Tools makes images that are exactly the same size. So you have to make sure that your boxes are exactly the same size or they won't fit together. So I am going to undo because again, it fit nicely. Okay, so sometimes you'll get lucky. Sometimes you'll have to mess around with it a little bit. If you want to be like extra precise, you can always select all of them and then right click and go to the sizing here, resize column, and you can mess with this one at a time. So you can go like 72, 73, 74, or if you need to go smaller, and then just kind of see and play around so that you find that perfect setting if you don't want to mess with just moving it back and forth. All right, there's 3 squares missing for the 3 answers that are incorrect. So I'm going to start off with that right now. I'm going to start with adding my answers in. So 1/2, I know that's going to be in words. It's this one here. So I'm going to change this to 1/2. And then I'm going to put an X here because I updated it. Does that make sense? Then 1 and 2 here, denominator and the numerator. I'm not sure which ones they are here, but I'm going to bet it was 4 9s. Is it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it going to be 5 and 6? 1. No, which one? Oh, look at this one. That's all the way here. Okay, so that's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if it's 4. Is that the one I just edited? Ah, that's that one. That's not it. And is it this one? I just did that one. This is why. We could always check the formula. That's what I was trying to avoid. I was trying to avoid checking the formula, but let's check the formula. I'm going to go to Insert, View, Show, Formula Bar. And this one is one of these two, right? This one or this one. if you notice here, it says this is W17. So I'm looking for this one, W17. If W17, and then the answer is on C213. C213. So C213 is the answer for this one. So that's that one. How to read the formulas. I just fixed it. All right, I'm going to erase all these because these are the ones that we still have to work on. Now I really don't need these numbers. And you can see my brain just kind of working on these. So feel free to ask any questions. No, not every day. Only once a week. So live just once a week, because I am a teacher. So right now I'm on summer break. I guess I could go live every day if I wanted to, but I also want to enjoy my summer. And during the not summer, I'm teaching. All right, this is the next one, and it's probably gonna be right below it. So those are the ones that have been updated already. Okay. Now that I know what my image is, I know that the image is the cute little kitten, I am going to change these into something related to cute animals. And in order to do that, I have to find emojis. And I like using Emojipedia. Let me copy that and paste it into the chat. I like using emojipedia.org. The reason why I like using the site is because you can use all of these emojis and it's actually text, right? Because emojis are text when you're texting, and your Google Sheets will read them as text. You can even use them within your answers if you wanted to. So I love this site for a lot of different reasons. Let's choose a cat for the first one. We'll use a little orange kitten because Oliver and company, he is an orange kitty. So what fraction are, I guess we could do both, orange cats. What fraction are, we'll make this black cats. One, two, three. Let's do 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's do 7 on that one. And then let's take the black cat. And we'll do the rest. Oh, what happened? That's weird. What is it doing? That was really odd. When you make it too big, it turns weird. Okay, let's copy this one. I'm so confused right now. As soon as it gets to 26, it turns weird. Okay, let's make it 20. Let's make all of these 24 for the black cat. They did what? Not a percent. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I'm sorry that you have trauma over something a teacher did. Oh, okay. Oh, Missy, thanks for being here. Awesome. You can't be computer illiterate. You have a YouTube channel. There's no such thing. And Krishan, I just got what you said, and that's hilarious. I mean, no, it's not funny. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but that will definitely not be me. That took me a while. All right. Anyway, what fraction are orange cats here? 4 out of 9. This one's going to be correct. This one's going to be correct. Let me check again which one it was. This one, 9. Let's check that. This is on C207 because we already had a 9 down there. So I'm going to go to C207 and I'm going to mark an X that I already did this because I already added that in there. This one, 4, is going to be right around, right? It's probably going to be this one. Is it that one? It was. All right, this one's done. And now this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, what fraction are black cats? 2. And that's going to be this one. And we know that this is the one that, this is the reason why everything's thrown off. I'm going to put here weird at the end so I remember later. I'm sure that was very awkward. I mean, I am 100% sure, and I am all about my students, so nothing to worry about. Oh, man. That is funny. Okay, we're done with this part, and look at how cute. It's all starting to show up. The live took a turn. Okay, show where 1/2 is below. This one I really enjoy. So we're going to start off with 0. Technically, 1/2 would be the first one here, right? 1/2. And then right here would be 2 halves or a whole. Then right here would be 3 halves, right? So I'm going to have to change some of this around because I want this to be a whole number. This is going to be a good trick for everybody to see. So I'm going to hold these two. I want to move them to where the 3 halves is. I can't just copy paste. It's not going to move. This has a lot of coding in there. So in order for me to move it, I have to cut it. So I am going to select both of them together, and I'm going to go to Control X to cut. And I know that I did it right. If you see all of the little boxes, all of the little outline on it, it's dashed. And then I'm going to go over here on the side and I'm going to paste. Now this one has the coding. And this one is blank. So this one, I want it to be 1. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it here. I guess instead of 1, let's make it 2/2. I'm going to copy this one with a fraction on it. And I'm going to make this 2/2. Because again, they don't have to type this up, right? So this would be 1/2 here. 2/2. This would be 3 halves. This would be 4 halves. 5 halves. 6 halves. And 7 halves. All right, a lot of these are marked as correct, right? So we just got to go and figure out which ones they are. If you notice, these are, it's going to be the numerators and then the denominators. If you look at here, all the ones that are 9s here are going to become 2s. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do first. This one's 1, and it's already marked as correct. So I'm going to make this X, and then the next one is 2, and I'm going to mark this X. That's going to be this one here at the bottom. This one, 18, is definitely, I don't think it's one of these. Let's see which one this one is. This is 2. New. And let's see where this one is. Let's change this one to a 2. That's 21. That's none of them. Okay. Never mind. 0. Oh, that was that one of these. That's probably that one. That's the one we moved. New. Man, I'm all over the place. How about this one? 23. None of them are working. That's going to be here at the bottom. Okay, let's try and find them here. It's probably this. Oh, I was smarter way back when. Notice how the numbers, this is 19, 20, 21. So I showed it. This is the next one here. 2 9s. It's right here. So this one would be 3. Yep. All right, so this one's 3. 10, jump to the bottom. I don't use Reddit. I don't use Reddit. I think you guys have like a lot of trust. Can I get that kind of reach? I don't know. I don't know if I'm that friendly. That 5 is done. And then this is going to be 2. And then 6 is done. And this is going to be 2. And then, okay, that's done. All right, I got all these going. And we know where we're at. Okay, perfect. So these little X's help me. They help me stay where I'm supposed to be, and I know what I already edited. And then now you can see our picture showing up. Awesome. I'm going to leave this part for the end because I do something that I don't know if anybody else does. I have shared this before way back when I started making the videos with tips and tricks. But I'll go back and do it. All right, so use the number line below to find an equivalent fraction to 1/2. I know that this part is going to be 1/2. This one says, how many more to make a whole? Well, 1/2 is where we start. To make a whole would be 2 out of 2. So to make a half, this needs to be 1/2. All right, so I'm going to skip 2 here. And it's probably going to be this one, right? 1. Is that it? No. Oh my goodness. 17, 18. Oh, 18. 19. So it's going to be this one. 1/2. Is that right? Yep. I'm teaching myself how to work with this template again. There you go. So now that one is there. Right. Now skip count by 1/2. So this is going to be 1/2 is going to be here. So this one always starts with 0 over 2, 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2, 6/2, 7/2. This one's basically going to look the same as up here because they're counting by 1/2. All right. And now we got to fix these. So we left off on this one, 2021. So let's see. 1. Oh no, it starts with 0 always. 2. Is that right? Yep. Okay. 0. 2. 1 over 2 is already there, so then this would be 2 over 2. Yep. 3 over 2. And let's just make sure. Yep, 3 over 2. And that was 27, so now 28 was down here. 3 over 2, 4 over 2. Now I'm working with the template correctly. 5 over 2, 6 over 2, and 7 over 2. Yep. Okay. See how easy it is to tell when the green is there? That it's done. All right, we're almost there. Okay, so we have 2 more questions left. And then after those 2 questions, I am going to go through and change the colors so that it matches more of what I want my template to be, or what I want my template to look like. I am really liking that baby blue though in the background. It's pretty fun. And the yellow lines don't bother me. If you wanted them to look like exactly like a picture instead of a puzzle, you can always change the lines around by changing the border, but I'm going to leave that. And all right, so I need to change the number line. This is how I change the number line. I'm going to close this out. I use a PowerPoint, and hopefully it'll make sense why I have it here. And I'll go ahead and I'll share my PowerPoint because it is still a good starting point. I do highly encourage you though, if you're going to use this, that you actually download it as a PowerPoint. The link is going to make it a Google Slides. So I just put that in the chat. And let me go put it on Facebook as well. I know that sometimes if you're on mobile, the links don't work here in YouTube if you're using mobile. But they will on Facebook. This year I taught 8th grade math, but before that I taught high school math, and I taught AP statistics, algebra 2, algebra 1, just kind of you name it. I taught high school math, and next year I'm going to be teaching 7th grade. So I just I am moving around because the kids like me. So I get moved around quite a bit to bring new content to other grades. All right, so the PowerPoint. How do I use it? Here are my, this one, anytime that I use anything with frequency or with tables, I like using this one. Here's my image that I must have made for something. I don't even know what that was for. You can always erase those. But here are all the number lines. And some graphs here if you're interested in using them at any time. I've made these using PowerPoint so that they're easy to work with. All right, so we want a, oh, this is a good one. This is a good number line here. So I want a number line that clearly shows 1/2. Right, so I want a number line that is easy for me to find 1/2 so that my students can take that number line, right, and then move up and figure out which one is the equivalent fraction to that, right? So in this one, they're using 1/4, right? And they could see that 1/4 is that 1/4 is 4/16. So on this one, 1/2 would be 2/4 right here, right? So I am going to take all of these and I'm going to change the numbers here. I think I'm going to leave the 16ths at the top. That's a good one. But I'm going to change this to be 1/2. 1/2. I'm going to erase this one out. I don't need this fraction here. And I don't need this one here. Oh, we can leave those. You can add more or less numbers if you want to, right? I think this is a good visual. The bottom one doesn't have a lot for students to look at, but it's still a number line that all they got to do is look for that 1/2 and then match it up to the top, and they would know that the equivalent fraction is 8/16, which would be their answer. Okay, so the reason why I like this, if you notice when you hover over it, this has all been merged together. So you can always ungroup it. You can right click and then go to ungroup, and you can move everything around, but I have a lot of them already made. Okay, so this, now that I have a number line that works for what I want to make, right? So I've moved it all around. I can save this as a picture that will work on my Google Sheets activity. Thank you. I love my tattoos. And I'm going to go to save as picture. So make sure that if you're using PowerPoint to make your number lines like I do, if you're going to use this tip, when you're going to save as a picture, if you're clicking anywhere, see how I can see those little green dots? That's what it's going to save. So you want to make sure that nothing on the inside is clicked and that you're clicking on just the image. Okay, of course, now it's not working. See how it's just that? Sometimes when you right click, if you right click over something, it'll change the picture for you. So you want to make sure you go kind of at the corner so that it doesn't click on anything else. Go to save as picture, and I'm going to name this number line, and I'm going to save this to my desktop so it's easy for me to find. Okay, and I'm going to lower this. The reason why I like using PowerPoint, first of all, is easy for me to use and I can move everything around, right? However I like to. Second is that when you save the picture, it saves it without a background. So notice how this is, why do I have balloons going? There's balloons in the background. I don't know what happened. Did I do it? Is that thumbs up? Did I think I was doing thumbs up? Oh no, that's, all right. I'm getting sidetracked here. It saves it without a background, which I appreciate because sometimes if I want to change all the colors around, it's going to go with my theme. So I love using PowerPoint for that reason. It's easy to use. I am going to now do the same thing I did here to insert the picture, but on this part here where I have the number line set up. So I'm going to go to insert image in the cell, and you can drag and drop it, or you could just browse and select that one you just saved. And there it is. Okay, so there is a number line. If your students have a hard time seeing it, especially if they're like on a Chromebook and they're like, oh, I can't see those numbers, what is it? You can tell them to zoom in, right? So you can go up to like 200%, and then it's a lot easier for them to see it. So they can use the zoom button. They can also manually input a number there. Oh, I guess 200 is the max that it goes. I used to be able to go higher. 150. Let's go back to 100. But that's what I would do. And then, so the answer to this one is 8/16. Okay, that one's correct. And then the next one's 16 at the bottom. So that means this one was correct. So 19. Let's look for 19 here. No. I forgot that. 16. Oh, my brain's not mathing. There we go. 8/16. All right, last one here. We're almost there. And thanks for still being here. How exciting. I have more of you. I know there's not that many, but I have more than last time, and this is super exciting. It makes me happy, and hopefully you get to use this. I will share the final result as well, and then you have one less to create if you want to get to it. All right, these here were made 100% using this tool here, and then just shading it in. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to take all of these here, and I am going to merge them all together, and then unmerge them. I'm going to take off the border, and then I'm going to make it white. So I'm just going to hit reset. Now I have this canvas for me to work on. this is going to be 1/2. And then I said something that is less than 1/2, so I need to change this to be the less than symbol. So like that. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, this is great for tutoring. I have used this for when I used to tutor. I don't tutor anymore, but when I used to tutor, I used to use these as well for practice. So kids like them because it'll tell you whether or not your answer is correct. All right, so now these I'm going to make, I need something to show a lot of little squares. That's usually what I like to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make them this size. I'm gonna select all like that and bigger. All right, so what I did right now is I selected, I was counting in my head how many. So this is 5 by 6. I want it to be even, like one of them to be even because of that 2, right? So it has to be fractions that students can relate one to another. And the purpose of this question is for them to visually see when one has more coloring than another, right? So when one's colored more than another, so that they can figure out which one's smaller or which one's bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna want to create 3 of these. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna leave a space in between, put another one, some space in between, put another one. I guess we could do 4 images. That works. Now, I don't like where it is, so I'm gonna select all of them and Control X, and I'm gonna move them to the side. I think that's better. It's more centered. So again, select all of them if you need to move them. Control X to cut, and then move it where you want to. Okay, so now this one is split into a bunch of different ones. This one here, I'm gonna split into half and half. So I'm selecting pieces. All right, this is gonna be my representation of 1/2, right? So I'm gonna select this and shade it in one color. This one, I'm gonna turn into rows like this. So this one is split into fifths. And then this one I'm gonna split into columns like this. And this one is split into sixths. La, 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 la. Okay, so now I have 3 visual representations of fractions with different denominators, and I need one of them, just one of them, to be less than 1/2. One of them has to be exactly 1/2 so that they have something. So I'm going to make this one, I am going to use the color picker tool so I can match it to a color on the image. All right, so that's 1/2. I'm going to make this top one be less than 1/2. So maybe shade those 2 pieces up there. Oh, color picker. Let's make this orange. This one here, I'm going to make it more than 1/2 so that it's the obvious choice that it isn't, right? So the obvious not choice. And then this one here, same thing, or maybe this one I'll make it exactly equal to 1/2, right? So that another one that is not the right answer. It's like a multiple choice, and let's make this green is pretty. Okay, so the answer is this one here. So if they're going to write this as a fraction, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 30 is the denominator. And the numerator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So 12 out of 30 is less than 1/2. Right, so those are my last two answers to fill out here. I think this was the bottom, right? 30. Yep. And then this one should be 12. There we go. Yay, it's done. Now that I'm done with this, I don't need this column anymore. I'm going to erase it. The problem numbers. I don't need this updated. I don't need this here. And I don't need the answers. Just the title that I had put in there to help me. The rest I need there. So are the answers here. Ooh, videos for remembering math formulas easier. I don't think so. The way that I teach, I like to tell students not to memorize formulas. So I like to teach without formulas. So with a way to work on math without the need of a formula. And if it's a formula that I feel is necessary, I will always give it to my students. That's my philosophy. I don't personally, right? Your teacher might be different, but for me, I don't see the value in memorizing a formula unless you understand it. And if you understand it, you don't need to memorize it. All right, I'm gonna unhide this. Okay, so now the last part, what we need to do now is hide the answers so that it's an activity that's ready to go, and then change the coloring if you're unhappy with it, right? So the background colors and stuff. I'm gonna close this. We don't need this anymore. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to hide the answers first because you might be happy with the way that this looks already and be done with it. And then I'm gonna change the colors around a little bit. I kind of like how this looks, so I don't feel like I wanna mess too much with it. I think I just wanna change the background here, like this and this there. But I personally like the blue in the background, right? For this, I like how that looks. I'm not mad at it. I like the yellow bars, and I like the font here being that pink. So I'm happy with all of that. So let's go ahead and hide the answers. I am going to select the answers. So just the answers. I'm going to change the font to 1. So it's really, really tiny. I'm going to right click, view more cell options, and conditional formatting. If you did it correctly, these will all turn green. I'm going to change that to white and the font to white. And now it has disappeared. Go to done. Close. And then last, I'm going to hide. I'm going to select all this. I am going, actually, let's do this part first. I'm going to go from B all the way to Z. So I'm selecting the columns from B to Z. I'm going to right click and hide. And then now that A is selected, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make it really tiny. And then I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to make that really tiny. So now it's really hard to see anything in there. It'll take students some manipulating to be able to get to these. And I'm going to hide the sheet. So I'm going to right click here at the bottom and hide the sheet. If you're happy with the coloring, then you would make a copy of this, call it student copy, and that would be what you assign to students. So I am going to, from here, change some of the colors. I want to make, I'm going to select the top row, the column. If you hit Control, you can select multiple at the same time by clicking down on Control. And I'm going to make this one the same color. So I selected that too. And I think I want to make it this blue here that from the chalk. So I'm going to select all these and make it that chalk blue. And then the text here, the font color, I want to make it the kitty orange. Oh my goodness, it's 2 a.m. Good night, Roshan. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. All right, here's the finished product. That looks adorable if I say so myself. I know I just made it, but I'm going to toot my own horn because this looks so cute. I am going to... Actually, let's get a picture for Facebook because I am going to share the finished product. To get the picture, usually what I do is I download as a PDF. This is a great way for you to get an answer key for yourself if you like printing things out or if you want to save just the answer key. I am going to screenshot this. And this is the picture I'll post on Facebook at the end when I post this final one. If you want this finished product, here it is. I am going to put this in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions because I am officially done. I shared all my tips and tricks for these. Now you can make as many as you need. I will continue making some. I don't promise to always share them, mostly because sometimes I forget. But I'll share them on Facebook though when I can. This will definitely go up and it'll be in the description of the video if you are catching the replay. But I'm glad that this also stayed right around 1 hour. So that's kind of, I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. I do tend to talk a lot and get sidetracked, but I'm trying to stay true to that 1 hour mark. But thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. And if not, I will see you on the next. Oh, I said, rewind. I said I was going to announce the next live and I will. Let me put this down here because I made a little thing for it. The next live is going to be on Friday. So I'm trying different dates. So the next one is going to be on Friday, July 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'm trying different times to see when we go live and what works best for everybody. The next live, I'm going to talk about color reveals. Okay, so this was the most requested thing on the Facebook page. So I'm going to talk about color reveals and picture progressions and things like that. These are also easy to work with, also self-checking. I will show you where to get like coloring sheets and things like that. So that's going to be next Friday, July 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific. I will put this on Facebook as well with a link. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying it so that you don't miss the next ones. I really appreciate you being here. But I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody. You're so welcome, Sandra.